Two bits of information before we get into today's episode. Firstly, this is the first video I'm recording since we hit the big 300 subscribers on the channel, so thank you all so much for your support. If you are one of those who hasn't subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? It's free to do so. Just hit that big red subscribe button down below and join us for what will be the final season of Unemployed to Legend. Hello and welcome back to Unemployed to Legends Club 4 episode 18 with Liverpool. My name is Craig and come up on today's episode is the beginning of what is the final season of Unemployed to Legend. Yes, it is not a slip of the tongue from the intro. This is truly going to be the final season that we're going to be doing in this series. Main reason for that, I can't actually guarantee how much more time I'll be able to give to this series. So, whatever happens this season happens. If we win the Champions League, fantastic. We've earned we've achieved everything that we've set out to accomplish. If it doesn't happen, then so be it. We end the series, personally actually, with no regrets, because I feel I've achieved more than I actually felt we were going to in the first place. I set out on this entire series thinking, well, I'm just going to try and become a legend, but without a actual grasp of what that's supposed to mean, apart from maybe winning the Champions League. But overall, I feel it's been a career worthy of certainly being in the Hall of Fame, which we found out in the last episode I made it into as an English legend, effectively, in this country. So coming up in this episode, we will be going through all the transfers from the final summer transfer window that was just happened, and then we got the Community Shield match against Leeds United at Wembley to kick things off. Now, it's been a bit of a different transfer window because, as you're going to see from the transfer history, I've not made many signings. And even the signings that we have made have effectively been youngsters. First up, we're just going to go through the people who have come in first because it's such a short list. David Costarella, 19-year-old Italian under-20 international, 2-star accountability with that 4-star potential. It was originally 5, but I think my scouts messed up sadly about that. But he has gone out on loan back to the club we bought him from, Cesena. We bought him for £3.3 million, which was his release clause. Effectively, he's a future signing, so whoever takes over after me is going to have a fair few young players that they'll be able to develop. Unless they just rip the entire squad apart, in which point this is just pointless, but I'm going to be optimistic about it. But yes, you won't be seeing him, unfortunately, so we're not going to spend too much time on him, but he's a player who I was thinking of bringing in for the future until I decided, yeah, this is actually going to be the final season because, again, I don't know how much more time I can dedicate to this series. Next up, you've got Oya Bilbao, 18-year-old Spanish under-21 international, 2-star accountability, that 5-star potential. My scouts got that one right. And we have brought him in, shock and no surprise, from Athletic Bilbao. I'm sure it's not a coincidence that he's got the same name as the team he effectively started his career at. Why has Bilbao C got a different badge? Interesting, they've got a different badge to their parent club. Interesting. But he is a left back who would be a fullback on attack. It's not his best role apparently, but he's more than capable of doing that role, and at 18 years old he gives us a bit of depth. You may or may not see him this season. He's mostly going to be playing cup matches. He is accompanying the under-21s to get some development there. But as a player for the future, he'll more than get much stronger. I think he'll be a very good player for Liverpool in future years. Again, assuming the AI don't just rip the squad apart. And the final signing so far has been Lu Chao, 19-year-old Chinese international already. 2-star accountability, only 3.5-star potential. Wow, my scouts got that one wrong. Okay, he was showing about 4.5-star potential, but never mind. He's come in from Deportivo La Coruña in Spain for £5.75 million. I should have mentioned Bilbao came in for £13.75 million. All the fees we've paid have been release clauses, and you'll know why once I show you the finances in a moment. He is, I think, going out on loan again I say again, he's going to be going out on loan to... Who accepted? Oh yeah, Plymouth. That's right, Championship Plymouth. He's going to be going out to them on loan, so you probably won't be seeing him this season either. But again, just trying to set up Liverpool now for the future. So 3 young players, all 18 or 19 years old. In fact, Luchao is 19, isn't he? Yeah. So we're trying to increase the number of young players who are actually coming into the squad, or into the club for this season at least, and just try and give Liverpool a few valuable players that they can either develop or then just move on for a nice little profit in the future. As far as players who have gone out, first up, back in June, was Paul Williams, one of our right backs, the Welsh international. He has gone to Wolves on a permanent deal for £17.5 million. Not bad for a player who came through our youth academy. He wasn't really playing many games last season. You can see he only played 10 league games, so it just made sense to move him on. Next up, you saw David Costavella. He went out on loan to Cesena. Biggest squad player, first team players who we got rid of. Ant Farley, he's come back from AC Milan and immediately sold on to Leicester City. He went for £17.25 million. It is a loss. I know Liverpool paid £28.5 million. That's not me. I didn't buy him, and he wasn't really going to play, considering we shipped him off last season to give him a loan away from us so we could sell him on this summer. We've managed to do that. It's at a loss, but it's been 3 years since they paid that money, so as far as I'm concerned, that fee they paid, nothing to do with me. Leicester may have got themselves a good player, but I think we have better strikers, and I think that will be shown this summer. The only downside, we lost another homegrown player, well, in England that is, but we should have enough that will help us out in the Champions League anyway. So Ant Farley was moved on, and then the last 2 have moved on so far. Gino Infantino, a player I've been trying to get rid of for 12 months. Yes, he can play in central midfield, but we have a lot of central midfielders now. He went to Al Ittihad in Saudi Arabia for £5.75 million, which is actually the same amount as what they bought him for in the first place from Rosario Central. £5.75 million, and the best part was we got him off the wage bill. His wages, it says £170,000 at Al Ittihad. That's a pay loss that he's taken, a pay cut, because he was on £205,000 sitting in my reserves last season. When I saw that, I couldn't believe how much he was just sitting on. He must have been laughing at me while being in the reserves. I couldn't believe it. In fact, did he make any appearances for us last season? I think maybe cup matches. Literally 2 cup matches. You literally got paid £100,000 per appearance. Disgusting. And finally, so far we have also shipped out Dennis Simon. Yes, our backup goalkeeper. He's been sent on loan to Wolves for £1.5 million. We're going to make off that loan, plus a potential future fee. You can see it on the screen, £9.5 million. If he makes 25 appearances for Wolves this season, then he will be gone next summer. Doesn't matter to us, of course, but it gets him off the wage bill, or at least £63,000 of his wages. In fact, actually all of it, because they're paying us about 150k as well for the monthly fees. So fair enough, that covers Dennis Simon's wages and then some, which is absolutely fine. So those are the players who have come in and out so far. Obviously it's only the end of July at the moment. We're starting very early this summer for whatever reason, but obviously another month of the transfer window means anything can actually change. So with that in mind, this is going to be the team that we are going to send out for the first match against Leeds United. I feel show a Community Shield match because we have a chance to lift a I say trophy. A lot of people are going to say it's a pre-season trophy. They're not going to count it, but whatever. It's a trophy, a potential trophy. So, lots coming goal. A back four: Silva, Saravia, Becerra and Simanyontak, with Stingle, Lavia, Sestari in the midfield, De Catalare in attacking midfield, Ronaldo and Ross, the 2 men up front. Ross is playing the deep line forward because Luis Carlos has only just returned from injury. He'll hopefully get some game time in this match. Goodness knows he needs it. That match fitness is awful. Sergio Castro. Oh yes, I forgot. There were some players who we brought up from the youth squad or put into the first team when they came back from loan. One of them is Sergio Castro. who's been on loan at West Brom for the last 2 years. He's been getting a lot of regular Championship football. He comes back to us with 2-star accountability, only 3-star potential, but he is squad depth. He's a cup player, basically. And I'll be honest, he's not a bad cup player as well. He would be a central midfielder on attack, and he's more than capable of playing that role. It just makes sure he doesn't take any long shots, which is why I put him on the development to refrain from taking long shots. Yeah, you can just see that behind my head. That's absolutely fine. But he comes into the first team, as does Didi. You might remember him. Whether he sticks around or not, I don't know, because he actually hates me. I've never seen this one before. Adversary, he's showing signs of contempt towards you. Yikes. That's not particularly encouraging. Jovanovic, of course, we know from last season. He's now going to start playing games this season. This guy, new striker, George Lefondre from our youth academy, 19-year-old English striker. He is a decent Championship player at the moment, but he's got that 4-star potential to be a Premier League player. Charlie Ross started out a bit like him, and look how he turned out. So, hope for Lefondre yet. He was at Reading last season on loan. He did not play well according to his average rating, but still scored 6 goals, which isn't bad for someone who was 18 years old at the time. So, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. We've got a few more young players now in the squad, hopefully just to flesh it out. Anderson Luiz, of course, is still injured, out for up to 3 months. And aforementioned Sergio Castro, he's out for up to 2 weeks. So it's really just about getting in younger players and a bit more squad depth this season. See if we can try and develop a few players along the way. Even if we just play the cup games, I will be more than happy. Now, saying that, this is a cup game, but at the same time it's still pre-season. So I just want to make sure that a lot of my first teamers do have that match fitness going into the first games of the Premier League season. We've got about 5 matches in August because we're starting so early. So by the time we come back for the Champions League games, we would have played, I think, nearly a quarter of the season effectively. So we're going to get through the first part of this season very, very quickly, hopefully. And we got the first highlight of the match. I thought Diaz, hang on, I was thinking, did I start Diaz? No. But then I realised that's actually one of Leeds players. Leeds are actually a half-decent team themselves. They're in the Champions League themselves. Not quite what I wanted. But they are quite a good squad themselves. They finished 5th and got that last Champions League spot. Remember, it's the whole new Champions League format that's going to be coming in, so I don't know how that's going to work for qualification. That was just pretty poor from us. We should not be conceding that goal. What is our line? We'll go for high press with a low block to try and make sure we don't have too many players getting behind us, which is a bit disappointing. There are a couple of players I do have questions about. Notably, Lavia is one of them. Silva just lost the ball there. I don't know what was going on there. Oh my god, a lot of play. No one's really pressing, I've just noticed that. I don't see the point of putting get stuck in because I don't really want too many yellow cards, although saying that, they get yellow cards regardless of what they do. But it's been a pretty poor first half from us. In fact, there's been, we've got some shots on target now, but clearly nothing that is highlights worthy. So, fairly wide. Oh, don't work the ball into the bottom. Why have I got that on? I don't remember having that on at all last season. And it's been a pretty poor first half from us. Yeah, you know what was that? It was awful what I saw. Luis Carlos is more likely going to come on in this second half. Probably for either Ronaldo or Charlie Ross. I haven't actually decided which one. I was going to say for Ronaldo, but it depends who has performed the worst. Leeds United, though, having the best of the highlights, it seems, so far. Not exactly encouraged by that, considering Leeds are, I hesitate to say, out equals. Goodness sake, right, there's a good save by Lotka in the end, but can we just get the ball down and start moving it up their end of the pitch, please? We've had nothing highlight-wise. Oh my god, what is going on? Um, pre-season was okay, and then our first competitive game, we seem to just be lacking. I mean, I haven't told the players yet officially that I'm finishing at the end of the season, so I don't know what's going on here. In fact, what we're going to do is make some changes. So, an hour gone, Manuel Silva has been utterly dreadful. Borja is going to come on at left back. In fact, no, he's not. He's going to go into the centre, and Saravia can go left back. He's had a poor game himself, so has Siman. Let's have a look. Here, Lavia is going to go off for TAA. And Luis Carlos is actually going to come on. So, who's been worse? Fat Ronaldo. Luis Carlos can go in as that deep line forward. Ross can go as the advanced forwards. That's a bit more familiar for him. Let's see if that makes a difference. Let's encourage the boys. We've already demanded more, so I don't know really what more I can actually do there. But for a team who has won back-to-back Premier League titles, this is a pretty poor performance. Very good free kick. And, oh, it was off the post. I thought it was actually a save. But it has been very, very desperate from us, which is a shame to see. Migliorini is going to come on for CDK. And Siman is going to go on for... Saravi is actually having a very poor game. Do you know what? Nahul Diaz is going to go on for Saravia. Siman has had a bad game as well, 6.2 rating, but he's better at getting assists than Saravia, I think. Borja. At least get one goal back. Yeah, they've just not shown up. What on earth has happened here? This is an absolute pounding. I might actually do a second game this episode just to make myself feel better. We've got Bournemouth for our first match of the season. And even then, the last time we played them on camera, we drew 0-0 with them. This is awful. What the hell are they doing? I'd like to know what the match fitness actually shouldn't make a difference. We've actually got match fitness in our players. So what the hell is going on here? I mean, I know you can say it's the Community Shield, it doesn't matter. Getting pumped 3-0 is not my idea of a good preparation for the new season. Wow, thrashed the arms. I'm embarrassed, yeah. I'm embarrassed by that performance. That's the worst performance I've seen from this Liverpool side. I know Liverpool did strengthen in the... Sorry, Leeds United did strengthen in the summer, sorry. But I was thinking about the whole summer, who do we even bring in to try and improve this squad? Well, I hope that doesn't come back to bite me, otherwise we're going to have a very busy August. So, let's go and see if we can actually beat Bournemouth in the next match. Right, bonus match of the episode. I need to make myself feel better after that performance against Leeds United. No idea where that came from. So, a few changes to the starting 11. So, Lotka in goal, a back four of Amaral this time. Borja, Becerra and Siman, who stays in at right back even though he was terrible. Stingo at the base of the midfield, Lavia and Ferrer this time, central midfield. CDK attacking midfield, Ross and Tobar, the two strikers up front. Tobar was actually injured for the last match. I completely forgot to mention it. But he's going to be back now. Luis Carlos is on the bench. He still needs to get that match fitness. So until he does, he won't actually be starting games. Just to put that match against Leeds into context, Leeds have already played their first Premier League match on the Friday night and smashed poor Sheffield United 5-1 at Bramall Lane. I know you could say it's Sheffield United, but it just says, I feel, Leeds United are going to be one of those teams who will be up there in the top four later this season. They certainly are going to be a force to be reckoned with, I feel. Becerra, this is the first time we've had a highlight where we're on the ball, so a big improvement already as Tobar goes very close to getting that ball. He's in the area. Stingel, CDK, Lavia, and it's just been cleared, but it is back to Amaral. Have we still got a chance here? Yes, we do. Tobar with the ball. Play into the middle, man. There's players waiting, but he has won himself a penalty, it seems. I think Ross is still our penalty taker. As long as this is a penalty, then that's absolutely fine. Penalty's been awarded. Right, an early goal would go down a treat right now. And it will be Ross, I think, to step... Nope, sorry, it's Charles de Catalare to step up. And he scores the first goal of the season. 1-0, 4 minutes in. And that's just made me feel a little bit better. There we go. If it's a case that Leeds United are just a strong squad, then I hold my hands up and say fair enough. As much as we'd love to win the Premier League again and do the three-peat 3 times in a row of the league title, it's the Champions League that we want. Although saying that, getting smashed by Leeds United is not a great indicator that we're going to be up there or thereabouts in the Champions League this season, but if we avoid Leeds United, then I'll say fair enough. Some seriously big results that we've had against them in the last 12 months. Ferrer on the ball there. Lavia into CDK, and he just powers one home. It's 2-0, 20 minutes gone. Feeling a bit better right there and then. But we beat Leeds United 8-1 at Anfield last season. We lost 4-1 away to them at Elland Road. And now we lost 3-0 to them at Wembley. It's just very weird. There's no lack of entertainment against Leeds United, it seems. And our fans either appreciate it or hate it. In equal measure, it seems. Regardless, 2-0 up against Bournemouth to start the season. And Shiman has, I think, just taken a knock. We'll see if we can have a look, see if he recovers. He has a little bit. I don't know what's actually happened there. Nothing's come up from the assistant manager. If he has to come off at half time, then so be it. I'd rather keep him fresh as much as possible. We have Tottenham in midweek, as that chance has just cleared off the line. We have 5 games this month. We've got Tottenham in midweek. You then got Wolves next weekend, and then we got 3 straight weekends of Premier League games before the international break. And then the Champions League will obviously begin. We don't know who we've got yet so far because it's still the playoff rounds have not even been done yet. Well, one back there by Lavia, and there is Tobar with a very ambitious header from almost the edge of the area. As we are coming up on half time, I'm thinking taking Shiman off just to make sure he doesn't get too injured. He hasn't had the greatest starts to the season, and there it is. It's coming up from my assistant manager. He has taken a knock, so he will more than likely come off at half time. And we go in 2-0 up. We're going to make that change. Right, Shiman is going to come off. We're going to have a look at Jovanovic. This will be the first time we're going to see him. He caused issues for us last season. Now he owes me a few performances. Let's see if he can start against Bournemouth. Give me something good. And if he performs, maybe he starts against Tottenham in midweek as well. Borja doesn't get his header, but Amaral cleans up. Jovanovic, he is the last man back. Oh, Stengel, what is going on there, man? He has not started well either. Jovanovic, he's gotten back very well. Very, very well done defensively. He is on wing back, but he's on support, which means he'll start a bit deeper than, a lot of our other players. Amaral. Oh, what's going on? What's going on with the passing all of a sudden? Oh god, luckily they completely botched that, but what is going on with the passing? We can't string 2 or 3 passes together. I mean, team cohesion is fine. Ross is through here. He's got a lot of players around him. Ferrer, wild shot. But the passing is just not there at the moment. So it can't just be we're coming off a summer. Right, 17 minutes to go. We are going to make a few changes. Charlie Ross is going to come off for Luis Carlos. He can get some of that match time. Stingo is going to go off for Katinic. And Sestari is going to go off for Axel Ferrer. Lavia is actually having a good game, so it's just giving him that confidence that he probably needs. I don't see much from Lavia at times, but I know he's one of the best players on the pitch more often than not. Amaral is tired. I do want him to start. So Manuel Silva is going to come on, and Amaral will be rested for the Spurs match in midweek. And the last couple of minutes, we do get a 2-0 victory. That makes me feel a bit better. Now, it's not a complete crisis here at Liverpool. Match fitness for Luis Carlos. Absolutely fine. That will be a good one. We got away that today. I wouldn't say the performance was terrible. Oh, Stingel, shut up. I don't know why you're uncertain. Just don't get complacent, lads. Just don't get complacent. 3 points to start the season. I will happily take that. Next episode, which will be Monday, we will be back with Champions League football. We will be focusing again on Europe because that is the main aim for this season. And hopefully, not only will we know what teams we're going to be facing, but hopefully we'll be coming back fairly soon. We're going for the more tastier matches in the league phase this time around. If you have enjoyed this episode, make sure you hit the like button down below and smash the big red subscribe button so you don't miss the charge towards what will hopefully be a Champions League trophy in our final season in this series. Thank you all so much for watching, thank you all for your support on the series so far, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode.